5 hot graphic design niches to get involved in right now and into the future. But also importantly, how to make a strong presence in them as a designer. As a niche, visual identity design has been around for decades. And here's the thing, it's not actually going anywhere anytime soon. This is exactly why it's such a good niche to become involved in. As long as there are businesses and brands out there in the world, there will be a need for design identity and strategy. Those brands are going to need a visual identity. But get this, visual identity design is actually changing very, very fast. Brand identities are becoming more fluid and less rigid. They adapt across different devices, different situations, and are becoming more interactive with their audience. To become a really good top-level identity designer, you need to do one thing really well. You need to grasp the concept of target audiences and how to climb into the minds of that group of people, maybe more so than any other niche of graphic design. And I love this niche sector, and it's going to be a huge part in the future of graphic design, mark my words. The next thing today is a niche that you might not expect to be so important heading forward into the future, but in fact, it is becoming a very important graphic design niche. Data visualization is going to become so important moving forward in the world of design and beyond. And no, it's not just infographics. The primary goal of data visualization design is to make data more accessible and more understandable to specific audiences. It's kind of like taking Einstein's complex thoughts and equations and then putting them into easy to grasp visuals that the rest of us normies can actually understand. But why is this niche so incredibly important to the future of society as a whole? In today's world, we're moving more and more into a life where data matters a whole lot. From our health to our finances and the economy and so on. Graphic designers are going to be required to make that data easily consumed by the public. But here's the thing, AI can actually do this already, but a human graphic designer, a good graphic designer, can actually add storytelling and add different levels to the actual data visualization design itself. This will help the data resonate better with the audience. And these are the designers who will actually succeed in this field. And of course, it needs to look good as well, that goes without saying, right? Data visualization is going to move into augmented realities and will likely become integrated more and more into our lives. Graphic designers are going to actually be required to make that become a reality. Next up is a design niche that you might want to consider if you're a fan of interior design, architecture, or 3D spaces, and simply if you're someone who likes making a vibe with your work. Now, if you hear the word environmental design, you might think it's something to do with being green or eco-friendly, when actually, in fact, the real meaning of this design niche is completely different. Environmental graphic design relates to how a physical space, be it an office, an exhibition, apartment block, or even an elevator door, makes a person feel and how that person interacts with that space. It's sort of like bringing graphic design out of the screen and bringing it to an entirely different 3D realm. To fully and properly accomplish this niche of graphic design, the designer needs to be completely aware of what the audience needs in that 3D space. Do they need to feel a certain way? Maybe they need to be left in awe and amazement with the 3D space they're in. Or maybe they just need to be able to navigate the space very easily, such as maybe in a hospital. The trick here is to first think about the goal, and then you can think about the space that will fit around that goal. Environmental graphic design can be really fun, and it's an interesting bridge between interior design and working on a 2D screen all day long. And if we consider how we're moving into AR worlds via headsets, the designer who works on environmental types of projects might very well end up working on 3D physical projects, and then also virtual 3D projects too. Interesting times indeed. Graphic design niche number 4 is one I know many of you love. And this niche is only going to grow in strength and usability needs coming soon in the future. Motion graphics used to be exclusive to TV and movie companies, but now designers have the tools to create stunning motion graphics that captivate audiences. Static designs are becoming less and less dominant, and as technology progresses, we will see that motion design will become more of a dominant feature. That means that motion graphics is probably one of the best choices in terms of what niche to get involved in as a designer. As a designer who works with motion graphics, You should first remember what message you're giving and understand how adding motion to a design can actually elevate the experience for the viewer and make it more memorable as a whole. Graphic design in general should always come back to the audience and the message. If you remember just this, then you probably will get far. Now, design niche number 5 is again a really good choice to get involved in as a graphic designer, and it's a niche that you're probably interacting with right now watching this video. App user interface design is a safe bet for future necessity in the world of design. But of course, UI design isn't just confined to smartphones and phone apps. It can be for TVs, desktops, and so on. The future likely holds some very interesting ways that we're going to actually view media, much of which hasn't even been conceived yet. The designers who keep up to date with UI and actively make designs for audiences will be the ones who map out the path of this industry and who will be able to see where things are actually headed. Now, it's a sad truth, but as time passes and technology advances, we are withdrawing more and more into our technology. That increases the demand for UI design to be more functional and also effective. To actually get ahead in this niche, it makes great sense to get involved in the technology emerging in that space and in society in general, and to keep tabs on that technology and just kind of move with it. That will give you an edge over other UI designers because the technology audiences use will determine how the UI needs to be. But if you want to learn something else about this wonderful world of graphic design, just click that video on screen. And until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.